We're looking for someone with green pants to tell us where to park.
Is that a spot?
Nope, that's not a spot. The worst fucking driver, man. Always have been.
You know, that's hurtful.
Always have been.
All right, so Northwood and High. This is
I'm an old man now.
She has green pants.
She does have green pants. All right, so what are we doing here, Mish?
We are pulling up in Columbus, Ohio.
Right there, right there.
Thank you.
That I can park it.
Oh, you saying I can't park? Is that what you're saying?
She actually got it right.
Are you questioning whether I can park?
Well, he did overestimate that turn quite a bit. You did, yeah. She's on it.
She's coming out swinging.
She just annihilated you. Ginchwez, what can we say? Mish. Misha, ask me any questions that you want to ask.
Okay. We just stopped off, we got some food, and we switched to who was driving. We're trying to make up for lost time right now, so we're driving a little bit quickly. Darius has so many points on his license that if he gets pulled over, his license might be revoked. But I think I only have a couple of points on my license, so I can afford to get pulled over. Those of you who are members of the Ohio State Police, please disregard what I was just talking about. It's just a joke.
We took a bike trip from Massachusetts up to Maine, which is what was it? Was it like 800 miles or
Let's say,
was it?
Let's say
Let's round it
up. It was
up.
a bicycle trip, and it was.
Oh, hi from Maine. Look at that.
Ah!
Heidi Lynch.
It was about 2,500 miles.
So we got flat tires at the same time, and we needed to change our tires. So we stopped at a guy's house. We went and got water from the spigot outside the house, the faucet. And a guy in a truck came by, with a rifle in the back of the truck, and he passed us by. The Maine accent is pretty. For all those Mainers out there, he said something to the effect of, "Out of town, going wrong." Pulled up very aggressively in front of us, came out and said, "What the hell are you doing in my neighbor's yard?" His neighbor pulled up behind us, and he had a gun in his truck.
Yeah.
And the neighbor said, "What the hell are you doing in my yard?"
He said, "Yeah, we're gonna get. That's a good way to get a back full of buckshot."
Oh, that's right.
When he threatened to shoot us, Darius said, "Oh, well, we're riding for the rhino. We're collecting donations to save the black rhino. Would you like to pledge?
We're a program out of Africa.
Would you like to pledge to make a contribution to our ride?"
Remember, I started pulling out all the underwear and everything out of the bag.
I've got some papers.
And all we need to know from you is what your social security number is.
And the guys just immediately drove away. So we got to the end of our bike ride, which we were very proud of ourselves. We had ridden all the way to Maine, but it was exhausting. And we had originally planned to ride back, but it turned out once we got to Maine that we really wanted just to drive home.
It's misleading because they say, "Oh, go take a bike ride up to Maine," because it's north. So we go up to Maine, and there's this idea that coming back should be down. Doesn't actually work that way.
It's actually uphill both ways.
You don't just coast home. Yeah, so we couldn't ride back because we weren't strong enough.
That's basically a fair assessment, and we're sitting in a laundromat commiserating about how we're going to get home. We didn't have enough money for a bus ticket. And this guy overheard us talking and said, "Well, you guys, I don't know, I'm not sure that you'd be interested, but I got a car."
Oh, you're looking for a car?
No, I'm from Boston.
Well, there's a connection with the natives.
Okay. So we walked with this guy back to his house, and he, long story short, said, "You can have this car that's parked in my driveway. The only problem is there's these mices that are nesting in." So we had to move this nest of mice, baby mice and parent mice, into a shoebox, and then we drove away in this Pontiac T1000. Google it if you have a chance, because it's a really beautiful car.
You remember
It was a hatchback from about 1980. Unfortunately, somebody had clipped a bunch of the exhaust pipes coming out of the manifold. The exhaust was coming into the heating vents, directly into the heating vents. So as we were driving, we immediately started to get nauseous, like we were going to throw up. Also, it had broken tie rods, which means that when you run the engine, it would go, but it sounded like a machine gun. And the exhaust was killing us, so we unrolled the windows, then we opened the hatchback, and we were still feeling nauseous. So we stopped at a hardware store. We went in, we borrowed a cold chisel and a hammer, and we chiseled off the roof of the Pontiac T1000.
Sometimes you have to cut off the roof of the car in order to get where you're going.
And then we sat on our sleeping bags, so our heads were up above the windshield.
Like the Flintstones.
I can't believe I remember
Well, what
that.
our objective was we had one thing we wanted to accomplish, which was to get over the Gorham Pass, because it's such a real man could bike over it. We had pretended to be real men on the way there, and we had biked over it, and it really just it was
nearly
hard.
Killed us. Luckily, right as we were pulling up to the sort of base of Gorham Mountain, there was a sudden large popping sound, and the whole car, remember the steam and the smoke that filled the cabin?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
Actually,
radiator,
if you've never
exploded.
if you've never seen a dashboard melt,
It was amazing. Anyway, we ended up pushing the car onto a golf course and taking off the license plate so that the guy that had given us the car wouldn't get in trouble. We found that license plate. This was 24 years ago that we were on that bike ride.
and here we are on another road trip, which feels altogether
Yeah, it's not as
plush.
Yeah, it's not as challenging.
Which is why we wanted to go off-roading at some point. How do you feel about Texas turning blue?
No, I think Texas has it's gone blue in the not terribly distant past.
Not for a presidential election.
I think so.
Hell no.
Yes.
Hell no.
Why don't we Google it?
Why don't we make a bet right now with something at stake? Has Texas
Oh my God!
ever
Your voice control thing has not been working all
Turn right
day.
on
for
East
a
Hudson
Democratic
Street.
That's
presidential
definitely not
nominee?
going to work.
Yeah, well, not with you fucking talking while I'm trying. You keep talking while I'm looking because I think it's important for people to know who wins this.
So I'm saying in the last 50 years, not 30 years. 30 years, you're right.
This bet is, so I'm already right. I don't even need to Google it. I won.
No, that's how you define the term recently.
You know what's amazing is I feel like we're wrestling in a yard again, and once again I'm winning.
They all say it. Oh, we went to bed and we were feeling all so good about it. I'm sorry.
Everything was
Everything was
so
all
good.
right. We were going to win. And then we woke up and everything was completely fucked.
That's the one problem when people recognize you, you can't do that. I actually did that recently. Did I tell you this story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did tell you.
General,
Saying yes, I've already heard the story is a great way to.
Whenever Misha asked me, did
I tell you that story? Yeah, you probably did.
Dude,
And I definitely don't want to hear it.
Just can't bear it. Not again.